So what do you do when after 25 years of living for your children, they choose their father instead? What if they don't open the door when you knock? What if you find out they've blocked your phone number? I'm Susan, I'm 55 years old, and I'm going to tell you a life story I never expected. But before I tell you how I went from sleeping in my car to building a business that changed everything, I need you to do something for me. If you're over 50, if you've ever felt invisible, if you're starting over or thinking about it, hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to share might just save your life the way it saved mine. This story isn't easy to tell, but I promised myself I'd help as many women as I could. So subscribe, and let's do this together. 3 days after I signed the divorce papers, I stood outside Sarah's apartment building with a box of her favorite chocolate chip cookies, the ones I'd been making every Sunday for 28 years. My hands were shaking as I pressed the intercom button. "Sarah, honey, it's Mom. Can we talk?" Static. Then her voice, cold as ice. "Dad's house is our home now. Sarah, please, just 5 minutes." Click. I stood there for 20 minutes pressing that button until a neighbor threatened to call security. That's when I realized David had already gotten to them. All 3 of my babies, the same babies I'd rocked to sleep, nursed through fevers, cheered at every soccer game and piano recital. The next morning, I tried Mike, my 25-year-old son who used to call me his best friend. The phone rang once before going straight to voicemail. I tried again, same thing. On my 4th attempt, he actually picked up. "Mike, thank God, I just wanted to. You destroyed our family." His voice cracked with anger I'd never heard before. "Dad told us everything. How you wanted to leave us years ago. How you never loved him." "What? Mike, that's not. Don't call me again." The line went dead. My phone showed what I'd feared. Blocked. Emma was my last hope. My sensitive 22-year-old who cried at sad commercials. I drove to her college, waited outside her dorm for 3 hours. When she finally appeared, her eyes widened in panic. "Emma, sweetheart," she burst into tears and literally ran away from me. Ran. From her own mother. That night, I received an email from David's lawyer. I had 48 hours to vacate the marital home. Never mind that I'd spent 25 years making it a home, raising 3 children within those walls while David climbed the corporate ladder. The house was in his name. The cars were in his name. Even our savings account, the one I thought was ours, turned out to be solely his. I was 52 years old with $1,200 in my purse, no job history since 1998, and 3 children who thought I was a monster. Standing in my empty bedroom, David had even taken the furniture. I opened my phone one last time. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My children had blocked me on every single platform, but I could still see their public posts. Sarah had shared a photo, dinner at Dad's new place. So grateful for family that sticks together. Fall on when # best dad ever. There I was, erased, like I never existed. The thing about being a stay-at-home mom for 25 years is that society tells you it's the most important job in the world, until suddenly it isn't. Until you're sitting in a lawyer's office and realize you have no resume, no references, no proof you spent a quarter-century building a family. "What did you do before marriage?" the employment counselor asked me at the unemployment office. "I worked at a coffee shop for 6 months, in 1997. She looked at me with pity. "Do you have any computer skills?" I could barely work Microsoft Word. That first night, I slept in my car in a Walmart parking lot. A 2008 Honda Civic with 180,000 miles, and a check engine light that had been on for 2 years. Everything I owned fit in that car. 3 suitcases of clothes, a box of photo albums David let me keep, and a sleeping bag I found at Goodwill for $8. At 3 a.m., I watched a young couple load groceries into their trunk. She was laughing at something he said, their toddler asleep in a car seat. I remembered being that woman. I remembered believing I was building something that would last forever. The crying started then, and I couldn't stop it. Huge, gasping sobs that made my chest hurt. I cried so hard I threw up in a Walmart bag. When was the last time anyone had asked how I was doing? Really asked? My entire identity had been David's wife and the kids' mom. Now I was neither. I was nobody. The next morning, I stood in line at Walmart at 6 a.m., waiting for the store to open. I needed a job. Any job. The manager, a tired-looking woman named Rita, barely glanced at my non-existent resume. "Can you work register?" "I can learn. $12 an hour. Part-time. Starts Monday." I almost hugged her. $12 an hour felt like winning the lottery. I didn't do the math yet, didn't calculate that even full-time, it would be $24,000 a year before taxes. That a studio apartment in our city started at $1,400 a month. I had exactly 1 week before my first paycheck. 1 week to survive on $1,200. A Planet Fitness membership became my lifeline, $10 a month for showers. I'd go at 5 a.m. before my shift, when the gym was empty and I could cry in the shower without anyone asking questions. The locker room attendant, a woman in her 60s, started leaving me travel-sized toiletries. She never said a word, just left them in my usual locker with a sticky note. Stay strong. The library became my living room. Free internet, free bathrooms, free air conditioning. I'd spend my breaks there, sitting in the same corner chair, applying for jobs online. Admin assistant, receptionist, data entry. Every application asked for recent work experience. Gap in employment, 1998. Present looked like failure in digital form. 2 weeks in, I bought myself dinner at McDonald's. $1 menu burger and small fries. $2.37. As I sat in my car eating, I watched through the window as a family celebrated a birthday. Balloons, cake, a little girl opening presents while her mom kissed her forehead. I pulled out my phone and went to Instagram. I don't know why I tortured myself like that, but there it was. Sarah had posted a photo from her birthday dinner, just last month. Celebrating with Dad and the fam. 28 never looked so good. I'd left her birthday present on her doorstep that morning. A necklace with 3 small stones, one for each of my children. It had taken me 2 months to save for it. 3 days later, I found it in the trash when I drove past her building, still in its wrapping paper. The card unopened. That's when I started having the thoughts. The dark ones. The ones that whispered, your children would be happier if you just disappeared. I'd be driving my car and think about how easy it would be to just not brake, to drift into oncoming traffic, to make it look like an accident. At least then my life insurance would go to the kids. At least I'd be worth something to them. One night, I think it was September, maybe October, the days blurred together. I sat in that Walmart parking lot with a bottle of sleeping pills I'd bought for $6.99. Generic brand. 90 tablets. The bottle promised peaceful sleep. I held that bottle for 3 hours, turning it over in my hands, reading the label again and again. Do not exceed recommended dose. What would the recommended dose be for someone who wanted to never wake up? A tap on my window made me drop the bottle. A woman stood outside my car, older than me, maybe 60. She wore pajama pants and a sweatshirt. I need to pause here and ask you something. Have you ever been in a moment so dark that you couldn't see a way out? Maybe you're there right now. I want you to leave a comment below. You don't have to share details, just write the word hope, if you need to hear that it gets better. Because I'm going to show you it does. And if you've already survived your dark moment and came out the other side, write survivors so others can see, they're not alone. Let's build a community right here in the comments. You okay in there, honey? I rolled down the window. I'm fine. She looked at the pills on my passenger seat, at my tear-stained face, at the suitcases piled in my back seat. I'm in the RV over there. She pointed to a small beat-up camper van. Been living in it for 8 months now. I've got coffee brewing if you want to talk. I don't want to talk. Then just come sit with me. Nobody should be alone at 2 a.m. in a Walmart parking lot. I don't know why I said yes. Maybe because she didn't ask questions. Maybe because she looked at me like I was a person, not a problem. Maybe because I was so desperately lonely that even a stranger's kindness felt like water in a desert. Her name was Linda. She was 62 years old, and she'd been exactly where I was 10 years earlier. My kids stopped talking to me after my divorce too, she said, pouring coffee from a French press into mismatched mugs. My ex told them I was mentally unstable, that I'd abandoned the family for a midlife crisis. They believed him for 8 years. 8 years? My voice came out as a whisper. 8 years. No birthdays, no holidays, no phone calls. I missed my daughter's wedding, my son's college graduation, the birth of my first grandchild. How did you survive it? Linda looked at me with eyes that had seen the same darkness I was staring into. I almost didn't. I stood on a bridge one night, ready to jump. You know what stopped me? I shook my head. I got angry. Really, truly angry. I thought that son of a bitch doesn't get to win. He doesn't get to take my kids and my life, so I decided to build something he could never touch. Something that was completely mine. She showed me her laptop, a beat-up Dell that looked older than my car. On the screen was a simple website, Linda's Virtual Services. What's that? I help small businesses with their admin work. Scheduling, emails, basic bookkeeping. I learned it all from YouTube tutorials. Started with one client paying me $300 a month. Now I have 12 clients and make $4,500 monthly. $4,500 a month. Living in a camper van. Linda, why are you still here? In a parking lot? She smiled. Because I'm saving every penny I don't need for basic survival. In 6 months, I'm buying a house. Cash. And my kids, her voice caught. My kids came back to me last year. All 3 of them. They finally saw through their father's lies. My daughter calls me every Sunday now. My son invited me to move in with him. But I said no. I needed to prove to myself I could do this. That conversation saved my life. Literally, I went back to my car and dumped those sleeping pills in the Walmart trash can. The next day, I went to the library with a mission. If Linda could learn virtual assistants at 52, I could learn it at 52. I started with Virtual Assistant for Beginners on YouTube. I watched 8 hours of tutorials, taking notes in a 99-cent spiral notebook. The terms felt foreign at first. Client management, CRM software, invoicing, Zoom etiquette. But I kept watching, kept learning. At night in my car, I'd practice Excel spreadsheets on my phone until my eyes burned. 3 weeks later, I created my first LinkedIn profile. I didn't have a professional photo, so I took a selfie in the Walmart bathroom during my break, wearing my nicest blouse. I wrote my bio 5 times before settling on experienced professional transitioning to virtual assistants, 25 years of organization, multitasking and problem-solving in fast-paced environments. It wasn't technically a lie. Managing 3 kids, a house, and a husband's social calendar was absolutely a fast-paced environment. My first client came from a Facebook group called Small Business Owners Support. A real estate agent named Tom needed someone to manage his calendar and respond to initial client emails. 3 hours a week, $300 a month. I cried when he sent me the first payment via PayPal. $300. It took me 24 hours at Walmart to earn that. And I'd done it in 3 hours of work I could do from my laptop. This was my turning point. That $300 proved something to me. I wasn't worthless. I could create value. I could build something. Now I want to know, what's your skill that you've been underestimating? What did you spend 25 years getting good at that you think doesn't count? Drop it in the comments. Are you a master organizer? A problem solver? Someone who can manage chaos? Tell me what you're good at, even if you don't think it's professional enough. Because I promise you, someone will pay for that skill. By Thanksgiving, that horrible Thanksgiving where I scrolled through Sarah's Instagram posts of family dinner without me. I had 2 clients and was making $600 a month on top of my Walmart salary. I still lived in my car, still showered at Planet Fitness, still ate dollar menu dinners. But I had something I hadn't had in months. Hope. On Christmas Eve, I was sitting in my usual Walmart parking spot when Linda knocked on my window. "Come celebrate with me," she said. "I'm making actual Christmas dinner in my camper. Well, as actual as you can get with a hot plate and a toaster oven." We ate boxed stuffing and deli turkey in her camper van, watching a Christmas movie on her laptop. It was the best Christmas I'd had in years. Not because of the food, but because I wasn't alone. Because someone saw me. Because Linda looked at me and said, "You're going to make it. I can see the fire coming back in your eyes." That fire was about to become a blaze. The week after Christmas, I landed my 3rd client, a bookkeeping client, who needed 10 hours a week at $25 per hour. Suddenly, I was making $1,600 a month from virtual work alone. I did the math in my car one night, my breath fogging up the windows in January. With my Walmart job and virtual clients, I was bringing in about $3,000 a month after taxes. A studio apartment was $1,400. Utilities, maybe $150. Phone $40. Food $300. If I was careful. Car insurance $120. Gas $150. Planet Fitness $10. I could do it. I could actually get out of this car. But I didn't. Not yet. I kept living in that Honda Civic for another 3 months, banking every extra dollar. Because Linda had taught me something crucial. Having money saved was freedom. Having money saved meant I'd never be desperate again. Having money saved meant I controlled my own life. By March, I had $8,000 in savings. I'd expanded to 5 virtual assistant clients and was working 30 hours a week remotely. I kept my Walmart job at 20 hours because Rita had been kind to me when I had nothing, and I wanted to honor that. On March 15th, I remember the date exactly, Emma's Instagram went private. I couldn't see her posts anymore, but her profile picture changed. In it, she was alone, not with her dad or siblings. Just her, looking thoughtful, maybe a little sad. I wanted to read into it, wanted to believe it meant something, but I'd learned not to hope too hard when it came to my kids. Every time I let myself imagine a reconciliation, the disappointment hurt worse. Instead, I focused on what I could control. I bought an online course called Virtual Business Management Mastery for $297. It was the most money I'd spent on myself since the divorce. The course taught me advanced skills, project management software, social media management, basic graphic design. I completed it in 3 weeks, studying until midnight every night in my car. In April, I finally rented a studio apartment, 425 square feet, a Murphy bed, 1 window that overlooked a parking lot. The shower barely worked, and there was a weird stain on the ceiling. I didn't care. It was mine. Nobody could tell me to leave. Nobody could take it away. Linda helped me move in, which took exactly 1 trip since everything I owned still fit in my car. We sat on my floor eating pizza from the dollar store, and she raised her plastic cup of water in a toast. To new beginnings, she said. To never going back, I replied. That night, alone in my apartment, I allowed myself to look at my children's social media one last time before blocking them myself. I needed to stop torturing myself with their happy family photos. Needed to stop waiting for them to call. Sarah had posted a photo from a work event, crushed my sales goals this quarter. Mike had shared a gym selfie. New PR. Hard work pays off. Emma had posted a quote, "Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest." I stared at Emma's post for a long time. Was she talking about me, or about someone else? I blocked them all. Every profile, every account. If they wanted to find me, they'd have to look. And maybe, just maybe, by the time they looked, I'd have built something so incredible, they'd realize what they'd lost. I was about to do exactly that. But first I had to stop being angry, and start being strategic. I had to stop being the victim, and become the victor. And I had to learn one crucial lesson that would change everything. The lesson that you can't wait for people to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself first. May brought something I didn't expect. My first employee, her name was Rachel, a 29-year-old single mom I met in a Facebook group for work-from-home parents. She'd been laid off from her corporate job and was desperate for flexible work. I offered her $15 an hour to help with my growing client load. "Wait," she said on our Zoom interview, "you're hiring me? But you're a virtual assistant yourself." "Not anymore," I heard myself say. "I'm building an agency." The word surprised even me. An agency. But why not? I had 7 clients now, all asking if I could take on more work. I was turning people away because I didn't have enough hours in the day. That week, I registered Susan's Virtual Solutions LLC for $125. I created a real website using YouTube tutorials and a $12 template. I wrote a business plan in my spiral notebook at 2 a.m. because I couldn't sleep from excitement. Within 3 months, I had 4 employees, all women, all with stories like mine. Divorce, job loss, starting over. I paid them well and gave them flexible hours. We met on Zoom every Monday morning, and slowly we became something more than coworkers. We became a family. By August, I was making $6,000 a month profit after paying my team. I moved to a 1-bedroom apartment with a window that actually had a view, just a parking lot and a tree. but it was the most beautiful tree I'd ever seen. I bought my first new outfit in years. Professional blazer. Nice jeans. Actual makeup from Sephora, not the drugstore. I took a new LinkedIn photo, and this time, I looked like someone who had her life together. That's when something unexpected happened. I started posting on LinkedIn. Not business tips. I wasn't qualified for that yet. Just my story. Raw, honest posts about starting over at 52. About living in my car. About learning to code Excel formulas in a Walmart parking lot. My first post got 47 likes. Then 200. Then one went viral. My kids don't talk to me, but I'm building an empire they'll be proud of someday. 15,000 views, 2,300 likes, 487 comments. Women started messaging me, hundreds of them. I'm going through a divorce too. My kids chose their father. I'm 58 and starting over. Can you teach me what you learned? I responded to every single message. Sometimes I'd stay up until 3 a.m., talking women off the ledge, the same ledge I'd stood on just months earlier. That September, I noticed something odd. Someone with no profile picture had viewed my LinkedIn profile multiple times. The account name was just EM. I tried not to let myself hope, but Emma's middle name was Marie. Could it be? I didn't reach out. If it was her, she needed to come to me. October 1st was my 1-year anniversary of signing the divorce papers. I marked it by enrolling in an online business management certification program, $2,500 for 6 months of intensive training. Old Susan would have asked permission to spend that money. New Susan knew it was an investment. By December, I had 12 employees and 43 clients. My agency was bringing in $25,000 monthly in revenue. After expenses and payroll, I was personally clearing $12,000 a month. I sat in my apartment, that Christmas, my second Christmas without my kids, and I didn't cry. Instead, I opened my laptop and started creating something new, an online course for women over 50 who wanted to start virtual businesses. I called it Never Too Late Academy. I spent 3 months building it, filming videos in my apartment, writing workbooks, creating templates. I launched it in March for $297, expecting maybe 10 people to buy it. 300 women enrolled in the first month. The messages poured in. You saved my life. I just landed my first client. I'm 61 and I finally feel hopeful again. That's when the media started calling. Local newspapers first. Then a national women's magazine. Then a podcast. Then a TED Talk invitation. Standing on that TED stage, 6 months later, looking out at 2,000 people, I told my story. Every painful detail. The car. The sleeping pills. The blocked phone numbers. When Your Kids Leave You became one of the most watched TED Talks of the year. 4 million views in 3 months. But the view that mattered most came on a Tuesday in October. I was sitting in my actual office now, a small suite I'd rented with glass walls and motivational quotes I'd painted myself. My agency had grown to 27 employees. My course had helped over 10,000 women start businesses. I'd just been featured in Forbes. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Mom, can we talk? This is Emma. My hands started shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. 3 years. 3 years of silence. And now this. I stared at those 4 words for 10 minutes. What if it was a trap? What if she wanted to hurt me again? What if David had put her up to this? But what if she didn't? Yes, I typed back. Always yes. Coffee? Tomorrow, 3 p.m. at the corner cafe? I showed up 30 minutes early, stomach in knots. When Emma walked in, I barely recognized her. She looked older, tired. But when she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. She sat down across from me and immediately started crying. Not dainty tears, gut-wrenching sobs that made other customers stare. I'm so sorry, she gasped. Mom, I'm so sorry. I reached across the table and held her hand. The same hand I'd held through her first day of kindergarten, her first heartbreak, her high school graduation. Emma, what happened? I saw your TED Talk. Someone sent it to me, and at first I didn't want to watch it, but I did. And Mom, she wiped her eyes. I realized Dad lied about everything. Everything. She told me the truth then. How David had started poisoning them against me months before the divorce. How he'd told them I was having an affair. I wasn't. How he'd said I wanted to abandon them. I didn't. How he'd made them believe I'd stolen money from him. Impossible, since I never had access to the accounts. I wanted to reach out so many times, Emma said. I've been following your LinkedIn for over a year. I saw every post. I watched you build your business. I saw you help all those women. And I kept thinking, that's my mom. That's my strong, amazing mom. And I threw her away. You didn't throw me away, sweetheart. You were manipulated by someone you trusted. I'm 25 years old now. I should have known better. Sarah and Mike still won't listen, but I can't stay silent anymore. Dad got remarried last year, and his new wife, Mom, she sees right through him. They fight constantly. She's called him manipulative to his face, and watching them, I realized, that's what he did to you. That's what he's always done. We talked for 4 hours. I told her everything. The car, the parking lot, Linda, the sleeping pills, the moment I decided to live instead of die. Emma couldn't finish the sentence. I almost did, but I didn't. And now look at me. Look at what I built from nothing. Emma grabbed my hand tighter. I want to be part of your life again. If you'll let me. I know I don't deserve. Stop. You're my daughter. You always have been. You always will be. That night I lay in my bed. My actual bed with an actual mattress in an actual apartment, and smiled. Not because everything was fixed. Sarah and Mike still wouldn't talk to me. But Emma was back. And sometimes, one person coming home is enough to light the way for others. 6 months later, I got an email. Subject: I was wrong about you. Sender: Sarah, Mom. I don't even know where to start. Emma showed me everything. Your TED Talk, your business, your Instagram, where you help women rebuild their lives. She told me what Dad's new wife said about him. And I started thinking about all the little things I ignored over the years. How Dad always needed to be right. How he'd twist conversations until we doubted our own memories. How he never apologized for anything. How he badmouthed you to anyone who would listen. I'm 31 years old, and I'm just now realizing I've been believing a lie for 3 years. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to even respond to this email. But I needed you to know, I was wrong. So wrong. And I'm sorry. I'd like to see you. Only if you want to. Sarah. I responded immediately. Saturday, 2 p.m., same coffee shop, where Emma and I reunited. I'll be there. When Sarah walked in, she looked different too. Smaller, somehow. Humbled. She sat down and we just stared at each other for a moment. You look happy, she finally said. I am happy, even without us. I learned to be happy without you. I had to, but that doesn't mean I didn't miss you every single day. Sarah broke then, just like Emma had. And just like with Emma, I held my daughter's hand and told her the truth about everything. Mike took longer, almost another year. But Emma and Sarah worked on him, showed him proof of David's lies, helped him see what manipulation looks like. When he finally called me, all he said was, Mom, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Come home, I said. Just come home. Today I'm 58 years old. My agency employs 42 people and generates $600,000 annually. My Never Too Late Academy has helped over 15,000 women start businesses. I've been invited to speak at conferences around the world, but my greatest achievement isn't the business or the money or the recognition. It's the fact that 2 weeks ago, I held my granddaughter for the first time. Emma's baby girl, 2 months old with Emma's eyes and my mother's nose. Emma handed her to me and said, Mom, meet Susan. We named her after the strongest woman we know. All 3 of my children were there. Sarah brought her fiancé. Mike brought his girlfriend. We had dinner at my house, a real house now, with a guest room for each of them, and a nursery for when baby Susan visits. As we sat around my dining table, the one I bought with my own money, in my own house, surrounded by the family I'd lost and found again, I thought about that night in the Walmart parking lot. The sleeping pills. The darkness. The moment I almost gave up. And I'm so grateful I didn't. Because here's what I learned. Rock bottom is a powerful foundation to build on. When you lose everything, you discover what you're really made of. When your children leave you, you learn to be whole on your own. And when you finally rebuild yourself into someone you're proud of, the people who truly love you will find their way back. But even if they hadn't, even if my children never spoke to me again, I would still be here, still strong, still successful, still happy, because I learned the most important lesson of all. You don't need anyone's permission to rebuild your life. Not your ex-husband's, not your children's, not society's. You just need your own courage and a Walmart parking lot to start from. Oh, and I still have that old Honda Civic. It's parked in my garage right now. I could sell it. It's not worth much, but I keep it as a reminder of where I came from, a reminder that I survived, a reminder that sometimes your darkest moment is just the beginning of your greatest chapter. Last week, a woman messaged me on LinkedIn. She was 54, living in her car after a divorce, wondering if it was too late to start over. I sent her Linda's story, my story, and the link to Never Too Late Academy. Then I added, "It's never too late, and you're stronger than you know. I promise you'll survive this. And not just survive, you'll thrive. Because if I can do it, anyone can." And that's the truth I want every woman to know. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. If this story touched you, if you see yourself in any part of my journey, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with more women who need to hear it. Second, share this video with one woman in your life who's going through a hard time. Just one. And third, subscribe to this channel because I share resources, strategies, and real talk for women rebuilding their lives every single week. I also want you to know, I read every comment, every single one. So tell me where you are in your journey. Are you in the car? Are you on your way out? Or did you already make it and want to encourage someone else? Drop a comment, and let's support each other. Remember, rock bottom is just a foundation. Your comeback starts now.